that was 88. Update to Kevin Gates and Young Bleed, that's all you need. Set the record straight. It's all Baton Rouge, bottom boys jelly. Now come on, let's get this mail, man, that's on it.
So do you still have your record company right now?
Yeah, I'm on my own label, Trapdoor Entertainment. Actually, I just released my first single, actually maybe a couple of months ago now. It's called Make 'Em Dance. The video is on Vivo right now. The single's available on Spotify, Google Play, iTunes, etc. But yeah, I'm getting ready to put out an album called Living. That's the first single off of it. I'm in the process of doing my second video for it now. So yeah, that's the line I'm pushing along with my guys from out of California, Team Match. And shout out to Keith Clark and Inglews and Fontana as well.
I've seen Make 'Em Dance. That's a pretty dope song too. So when are we looking at? You're welcome. This album. So when do you think this album will be out? What's the timeline?
It's January now. I'm looking at maybe at the latest spring. What I want to do is, like I say, I'm in the process of doing my second single, shooting a video for that. I really want to build up a little bit more anticipation based on just what we was talking about earlier. You know, it got good views and different things like that, but I need those mass numbers. So I don't want to put out another record that is good or better as preserved or balls in my word, and the whole world miss it again. So I'm trying to let it really catch on. Then I'm gonna put out this next single and perhaps a third single right on the break of dropping an album. So somewhere between now and spring, April or something like that at the very latest, March, April.
Now, right there, that tells us right there that you are one of the old school brothers that know how to do this, because when you look at a lot of the artists today, you see them dropping mixtapes, like mixtapes after mixtape, songs after songs, and sometimes I think like you haven't really promoted this, and now you have another mixtape the next month or two. And sometimes I just feel like these guys are really doing it backwards. But, you can't really say too much. You just sit there and look.
Well, the thing is, I look at it like this here. I come from the old school mixtape days where I had a cousin used to go to New York every summer and bring me back, which was considered a mixtape at the time, but what he'd do is take a regular cassette tape and record Kiss FM that consisted of DJ Red Alert, you know what I mean, Marley Marl and the first Mr. Magic from out of New York back in the days, and record me everything that was hot and popping out of New York way before it reached the South. MC Shan, Eric B. and Rakim, so records before, they even touched Louisiana. I already had those records and was up on them and was able to shake my skill off of New York MCs for my battles and different things like that when I was a kid. But, let me see how I can put it, saying I could say this, it's that same type of thing, you know what I mean, to where, let me put it like this, for those that's not familiar with the term, it was just recently mentioned in the Straight Outta Compton movie where Easy is yelling the whole while. Any promotion is good promotion. So I remember at a time, and maybe depending on how your contract read or whatever your situation is, why you would get your favorite artist album out. LL for me back in the days, you know what I mean? Jay-Z nowadays. But you wonder why he can't drop a Black Print today, Reasonable Doubt tomorrow, because it was a certain stipulation of where I believe it went to where a mainstream artist or a major artist or however it read, I don't know exactly how it read the quote, but somewhere along the lines of you couldn't put out an album before, your next album before 6 or 8 months or something like that. So it's really roughly a year. So when you see your favorite artist, Beyonce or whoever drop a record, it come out, at least they drop one record a year. Now with the mixtape privilege, in order to further promote yourself, you could drop 1,000 of them, especially for independent cats. You could drop a record every day. So to keep yourself apparent and to stay current, yeah, I agree with that. I'm just starting to do mixtapes for as a whole solo Young Bleed mixtape, but I always felt like if I'm going to put the work in on a mixtape, I had some guys call me one time and say, hey man, Bleed, how much you charge me for a mixtape song? Blase. The same thing I'm gonna charge you for to put it on a regular record. Well, it's just a mixtape. Well, I said, what you don't understand is this. I'm doing the same level of work for the 16 as a 16.
Right.
So I'm going to write it, spit it, and do that the same way. Now, what you have the privilege of and what Pimp C used to say, I'm going to give you this much dope, and you're going to be able to stretch it out to this. Now, rather you take that mixtape beat from under those vocals, the acapella, and put you a whole nother track, and I gave you a song. You can use it twice.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So in that sense, here again, any promotion is good promotion. So whatever it takes to stay current in the eyes of the people, out of sight, out of mind, yeah, more power to you. So I agree with the mixtape game based on those fundamentals. I mean, but at the same token, if you know about that, then they are promoting it. You see what I'm saying? And who gonna promote you better than yourself? So, by the time you catch on to your favorite artist, say, let's go back and say from Ray Charles to whoever, just, I just putting a name out the hat. But just to give you an idea, okay, we just seen a movie a few years ago, Ray. All the young generation, you don't know who Ray Charles is, but you fell in love with that music once Kanye West sampled and him and Jay-Z rocked it. Now, for those who wasn't sampling Ray Charles, what you gonna do? You're gonna go back and get Ray Charles' whole catalog. Music is timeless, it'll sell forever. But it's once you catch on, and once those pieces is there, then it's always available. So that's once you get that one mixtape, once one catch you, then you're gonna go find if that's one of your favorite artists, you want to be a part of everything that they're a part of.
Got a question. Do you still feel a deal is still worth it today?
I mean, if it's the right, if it's the right deal and you're comfortable in your situation, go with it. You know what I mean? Especially if it's getting some money, that's the whole purpose. You want this to cash in. We don't rap for free. You know what I mean? No matter how dry it gets, I collect my money in sets. One before the show, then again when I jet. Especially at old school. So they was yelling that a long time ago, man, get your money. But make sure you're getting your money. You know what I mean? Learn the business. I say that to anybody. Everybody normally asks me this in interviews. What's some good words I give to the youngsters, the young generation that's up and coming, aspiring artists. It's keep God first always, you know what I mean? Self-preservation is, is what you need to do to keep yourself in it. Take care of your family and the few, extended friends that you may consider family. But, most importantly of all is learning this business. In this game, they're going to tell you it's 90% business, 10% talent. I used to argue that fact coming in. I'm a born artist, man. What you mean? I could do this in the bathroom without nothing. But now, without somebody typing a poster for you, a spreadsheet, a split sheet, you know what I mean, a one sheet, a press kit, it's a whole lot of business that come with this, and it take money to produce those pieces of paper before the digital CD or what have we. So it's 90% business, 10% talent. So you have to learn that, respect the business, and the business should respect the talent, and everything should be smooth sailing.
So you would say that it's not all about, because you have a lot of artists, so I would take it like this then. With you saying that 90% is 10% talent.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of the talent, you got people that's way more talented, but you don't hear them that's getting promoted or on the radio. Those aren't the ones that get the attention. Not saying that, not just saying that, hip hop don't have any talent, but I'm just saying that you do see, I'm trying to narrow it down so I won't, say the whole thing, but you do see that it's more the people that have the really good talent that gets ignored a lot. So you saying it's not really about the talent for real anymore.
Nah, I tell everybody this, it ain't what you know, it's who you know. If you know somebody that got the plug, that's like anybody that come out of, a hustle situation. I don't want to keep speaking on the dope game, but, you got to know somebody to be able to go get the product, you know what I mean? To be able to help you distribute the product. I call it the music game, the digital dope game. The same rules apply. Whether you selling a hamburger or apple on the corner, you still got to produce and, you know what I mean, come up with that and, and be a good salesman to be able to sell it. So the same elements apply, you know what I mean? So
what would you say to artists? I heard some of the artists that say that it's not worth paying a person, like a mainstream artist like you, it's not worth paying you to feature, on one of his songs or paying you to promote, or actually paying you to do a concert. What do you feel about that? Do you feel it's worth it for them or not?
Yeah, depending on how they, here again, work their situation. Now, the thing is, it's just like, well, here again, relating to the Straight Outta Compton movie, and a whole lot of morals and elements. Anybody that hadn't saw that need to see that evolution. Actually, we the last branch of that family tree that, that Eazy-E and them started on for as Priority Records. We was under the same umbrella. Ice Cube was still there when I came there. And we good friends and different things like that. Mac 10, you know what I mean? But saying that to say this, yeah, if it's a real situation, I was relating to that movie saying this about how everybody teased Eazy about never having dinner with the president and different things like that. But he said what he did was pay $1,500 for a luncheon that gave him $1 million worth of pub. You see what I'm saying? So if it might cost you $100, $150 to get on whoever, your favorite artist or whatever show just to open up, then it's on you to try to get your management or whatever your legal situation. If you can't get up and close and personal with this person that you trying to get your music in the hands of, that's what you really paying for. Can't know any guy just off the street walk into any corporate America building without some kind of orientation or some kind of what I'm trying to say, reservation, more or less. You know what I mean? Here again, it ain't what you know, it's who you know. Mm-hmm.
When you brought up that about how we're beefing and we're rich, and I just want to, with you being a mainstream artist, is a lot of that fake, or is it real beef? Is it just, where they're just doing stuff just to arouse fans or make fake beef, or is it more like real beef?
Well, I feel like this, and I say this. I mean, we come from rap battling the way it was cool and cute to some degree. It wasn't so I kill your mama, shoot your dog, and all this other kind of stuff that it didn't grew into. When battle rapping reached that peak, mountaintop peak was Pac and Big to me. And rather, due to the contrary, what they saying about Pac, rather dead or alive, supposedly, the great notorious Big is resting in peace. You know what I'm saying? So I know at a beef level, that's the ultimate, and I was a favorite of both of them. You know what I'm saying? So I miss Pac as well as I miss Big. You know what I'm saying? So every beef that had happened after that, to me, it wasn't even, on a serious notation. Jay-Z and Nas, y'all in the same place, man. Y'all ain't really trying to kill each other. You know what I mean? Y'all two positive brothers, so mine is the Plex and the BS, you know what I'm saying? And anybody else for that matter. The same terms Pimp C came home on Flip and T.I., you know what I mean? Different things like that. Chameleon and, all that, man, what are we doing? We done strived and came all the way from out these fields to get to the table. Ain't nobody else in the room to pull the pistol on but us. That don't make sense to me, and I ain't with that. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I felt like where I come from and anybody else, ghetto to ghetto in America and white folks alike, when you have a situation with somebody, where we come from, we'll come to your house, man. You got to see me. If it's that serious and that severe, I'm not playing with you on these records. I ain't playing with you on these streets. I'm a man first, or even getting the record, so I ain't finna waste my time, you know what I mean, on some battling. Yeah, I ain't never lost that, so it's nothing. That's on the shelf, Hall of Fame forever. But what you got to say to me as a man, like I say, watch what you saying and how you saying it, because now it ain't even about it no more. You saying some vindictiveness to get at me on the personal level. So now you didn't call my outfit out, you know what I mean? And in that sense of the word, just on some life and beyond respect, man. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna walk down the street ducking my head playing no games with nobody. So that's a whole nother violation. You know what I mean? So I don't take that serious. If that's for real, y'all handle your business, man. That's what you're gonna do in the jailhouse. They're gonna give you some tennis shoes. You're gonna have to square up. You know what I mean? As well as in the street. Yeah, so let's quit playing these rap record games, man. You know what I mean? And let's get some money and take care of our people. Anything other than that is uncivilized, man, and we don't care about. Yeah.
Now, one thing I want to ask you about your latest album with Chucky Work Clothes. How did that come about with you and Chucky Workload? Because that was, what, 2014? I think that was 2014.
Chucky was a guy that I met at least maybe 4 years ago now, not 5 years, 4 or 5 years ago now, through a friend of mine that I was doing music with between Chicago and Virginia, D.C., Baltimore area. I was going up there. I lived in Virginia for about a year. So in the process, in that time frame, I made a few good records with a few up-and-coming guys, doing things like that. And one of my guys ended up moving to Indianapolis, and I come out there to see him one time. And he let me know it was a guy of interest that wanted to do a collabo record with me, and that guy was Chucky Workclothes. So from that, I like Chucky vibe. I tell Chuck all the time, he reminds me of MC Cirque from Third Base. So, I'm a little bit, a few years past Chuck, so he knew about Third Base, but not how I knew about Third Base. So I always, crack on him behind that type of thing. Him and Joey Southside was a group together. And eventually Chuck, I guess he has his own independent label called Express Life. Started doing he was working on a solo record, which is out now, called Tax Season at the time. It was getting ready for tax season. But what we did was, the first record we did, the guy that was on that record, we ended up going, parting ways, and we never really got that record mixed and mastered right, let alone the paperwork, so we didn't do nothing with that record. So Chuck stayed affiliated with me throughout my travels in the last 3-4 years or so. I ended up most so in this Midwest, Colorado, Kansas, on up to Chicago, Detroit, and all that. So I've been actually living in Michigan for the last few years. Michigan, where I'm living in Michigan is like 4 hours from Indianapolis. So what it gave me a chance to do is catch a train sometime. I understand these East Coast, Midwest boys now, you know what I mean? You can hop that train, and pretty much a lot of the major markets in this area is like 2 to 4, 8 hours max away from each other. I'm probably that far from New York, you know what I mean? The Virginias, Virginia in particular, the Virginias, I said that right, Virginia, West Virginia, well as Kentucky and surrounding areas. So Chuck being one of the closer guys to me, we had a chance to do a whole lot of work. I go back and forth between here and Indiana, and every time I see Chuck wanted to do another record, and eventually we started doing videos and stuff. The first one was called The Song that's on that particular record, the Country Boy Living, called Living Up. And we shot a nice video for that. They got good views on YouTube. And we did a song called Clockwork that everybody loved. And we just kept that same element. Every time we saw each other, I admired Chuck. He really a man that lives up to his name. 100% partner and friend and family man with me as well. But on the other side of the work clothes, he do that, man. Whatever his grind is, Chuck out there really getting it streetwise and otherwise. And like I say, independently managed, so I always admired that type of artist. I used to try to take artists in the beginning and kind of lead a horse to water. But like the saying goes, you can lead a horse to water, you can't make them drink. So I started looking for more artists that was at least a quarter or half of the way established, or at least had that hunger and was doing that when I came around versus, hey, Bleed in the building, I'm going to act like a rapper. So he was one of the guys that was pushing his own line. In that sense of the word, and we started doing, like I say, a few records and videos, Clockwork, on up until it's at least about 3 to 4 or 5 videos me and Chuck did. And what we decided was we had good chemistry to work on a common record that wasn't so $1 million and you know what I mean, all this Hollywood blast. Just do a common record for the people that was kind of more country and outlaw based, coming from Indiana back to Louisiana with me. And just kind of started working on the elements of that record and found a lot of kind of country tune kind of tracks. You know what I mean? Indianapolis, they love Texas, you know what I mean? We love Indianapolis, so a lot of getting out in the country, you would think, where you think you're rooted in one place, you got to get out and see there's other people that love you and admire you too, and that's an open market for you. So that allowed me to get hands-on on the Indianapolis market, and so many artists up and coming in that area that we became friends and family over the years, and Chuck being my main guy is why we independently put our heads together versus sitting on our hands and thumbs and said every time we get together, let's at least do something, a video or something, and then put this together and see what the people feel about it. So far, so good.
Country Boy Living. You guys did a mixtape or something, like a teaser or something before that, before you actually released the actual album, right?
Well, I did a mixtape. Was my first mixtape. Behalf of my guy DJ Choice. That's a DJ that out of Indianapolis. Actually, they do something that's real similar to what they do in Texas when you're talking chopping and screwing. But what they do is slow the records down too, and they call it blending without the chopping and the scratching and stuff like that. And of course, I believe sometimes they do that, but they call their series of mixtapes or they chopping and screwing blending. So I actually took a lot of my great songs of the past and get at the DJ Choice, and we might have added a song or two from Country Boy Living that he put together for a mixtape for me called No Guidelines. So it's the first. I probably got songs on several mixtapes throughout the world. In particular, how you do that. I know everybody done pretty much touched that and did whatever with it, but saying that to say this, it was the first time that I did a mixtape. Where I took a combination of a whole lot of songs in the past that people knew me up just to bring it up to date, up into that Country Boy Living record, and of course my living record that's to follow. So, that type of thing, just staying busy. Yeah, like I said, I just released a new single called Make 'Em Dance off the forthcoming album, Living, man. Y'all get ready for that sometime between now and spring. The video is available on Vivo. To purchase the single, it's on Google Play, Spotify, iTunes, etc. As far as my Twitter information, you just type in at Real Young Bleed. You'll give me Instagram. It's the same thing, Real Young Bleed, and Facebook is Young Bleed's Bookings. Or Young Bleed's Management. I have several pages on Facebook, but I'm sure if you type in Young Bleed, I'll pop up all over the place. But yeah, basically that.